The gentleman behind the desk nodded politely and indicated with a stately wave for us to take the seats arrayed directly in front of his desk. It did not escape my notice that he chose not to shift our conversation to the corner where 3 couches were located. In Korea, symbolism counts for a lot. The symbol here wasn't hard to figure out. This wasn't going to be a chummy little chat, so let's not pretend otherwise. The minister was elderly, white-haired, and had a broad, bony face, dark eyes, and a mouth so tight it looked as if it had been slashed on with a machete. There was another Korean gentleman there also, even older than the minister, also white-haired, but more distinguished-looking, with a very handsome face and serene eyes. He sat quietly on a chair in the corner, the traditional place for note-takers and translators. Brandwaite and the minister yammered back and forth in Korean. I couldn't understand a word, but this was one of those exceptions to my general rule about what you don't know don't hurt you. What Brandwaite was saying might be real hurtful. His posture and mannerisms were almost comically obsequious. Finally they finished, and the minister, whose name was Chun Moon Song, turned to us in impassable English, said, "Miss Carson, Ambassador Brandwaite says you are protesting our request for jurisdiction over Captain Weddell." "That's correct," Katherine said. "What bothers you so greatly? Do you not have confidence in the fairness of our Korean courts?" In lawyers' terms, this was what's called a verbal ambush, the legal equivalent of asking when you're going to stop beating your wife. Katherine never blinked. "Aren't you the one who's demanding a change of jurisdiction? Don't you have confidence in the fairness of American courts?" It was a nicely done turn of phrase, and if I didn't dislike her so thoroughly, I would have been real proud of her. The minister blinked a few times, then sat back in his chair. He was a very powerful man, and this was Korea, which is a very patriarchal Confucian land. He wasn't accustomed to being challenged by anyone younger than him. He was painfully unaccustomed to being contradicted by a woman half his age. "Miss Carson, if a Korean soldier in America brutally murdered the child of your Secretary of Defense, how would your country respond?" "In America, we honor our agreements. Our entire economic and legal system depends on it. If we had a contract like our sofa, we'd stand by it." "But you agree, don't you, that the crime Captain Weddell committed exceeds the bounds of ordinary criminality? Can't you see why our people demand that we determine the punishment?" Katherine looked at him very curiously. "I don't agree. You're speaking as though you've already convicted Captain Whitehall." "I'm sorry," he said somewhat clumsily. "My command of your language is flawed." "Is it really?" she asked, not missing a beat.